Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we have to talk about Mehira because in my analysis yesterday I made one fatal error when it came to her HP loss damage output. When I was comparing it to other heroes, even though her multipliers are higher than another hero, the other heroes which have HP loss damage do ticking damage per second. So I basically made a very big mistake in my jumping to the conclusion that she is going to hit even harder than heroes like Ludovic and other HP loss damage dealers. So let's go ahead and clarify that right now. Basically, the thing about Mehira's damage is it is going to be a one-time effect. Each time she can cast this skill, it will be a 10-second cooldown. Each time she casts it, she will get at most, even with her 4 skill power, it will be 30% in total attack multiplier per hit. It will hit 5 times. 5 times 30 is 150%. So 150% attack multiplier HP loss damage each time she can cast this ability on a 10-second cooldown. Now, when we compare this to a hero like Ludovic, you're going to see that Ludovic actually is going to output way more damage and also on a lower cooldown. So that is basically going to be the problem. Because when you look at Ludovic's Life Weaver Bloom, this is his major HP loss damage that he will trigger. It will be 55% attack. With 4 skill power, that will be up to 95% attack. But it will be lasting for 4 seconds and it will tick every single second. It will be HP per second for 4 seconds. So this is why even though the numbers are higher on Mehira, they're not actually higher when you factor in how many seconds the damage is going to be ticking for, because 4 seconds times 95% attack multiplier is in total 380%. So actually Ludovic with his skill power charms is dealing 380% attack multiplier HP loss every 8 seconds. When you compare it to Mehira, she's only doing 150% every 10 seconds, even with her skill power charm. So when you look at that comparison, you're like, okay, she's not even close to the damage output of Ludovic, and Ludovic as a damage dealer isn't even used in every single endless dream on boss. He's using maybe 3 usually of the top teams of the 8 different endless bosses. So when we factor all of these things into consideration, it's actually very unlikely Mehira is going to see any usage as a damage dealer for Endless Dream Realm or obviously even for pre-Endless Dream Realm. However, there is still one saving grace of Mehira which potentially could give her some niche usage, but not widespread usage, and that is her haste buff, because the haste buff, based on the wording here, is going to be a massive haste buff up to 125, because it will be 5, for each of the hits it will give 25 haste, so with 5 hits it should give 125 haste to allies who are hit by her whip. Now this whip is only going to be a frontal arc in front of her, so any heroes who are behind her or beside her are probably not going to be hit and benefit from this, but heroes who are in front of her are going to. And the first thing that came to mind when you think about this is the Blightshroom Dream Realm boss, because obviously we know we cannot cast ultimates in that boss because of the massive energy drainage of the boss, and so you can't run the twins there, and so you're really lacking a good haste buffer for your team, because normally twins cover that haste buff role and you don't need any more haste after that. But Mehira could function as a haste buffer role in that boss, and also in Endless, she's still going to deal some HP loss damage at least, even though it's nowhere near the level of other heroes. But like if, for example, you could position it in a way that Mehira is haste buffing your other hard-hitting damage heroes, like a Ludovic, like a Baleran in the front, like maybe even a Fresto, it could actually have some usage with this haste buff, but basically only when there's not the twins, because the thing about haste is the twins give 60 haste to your whole team. So you might be thinking, well, if Mehira can give 125 haste, won't that be like double as good as the twins? The thing is, haste has diminishing returns. Like the fact of the matter is just that you get the most value from your haste like with the first 50 or even like up to 100 haste. That's why you really only want one major haste buffer on the team. Twins and Mehira together is just overkill and not really going to be that great. So that is basically the thing about Mehira. So, and as of right now, we'll show you on Dream Realm from Pioneer server, it is an endless difficulty. In Sigmund, Mehira is not on the top team. The top team is basically almost exactly the same as the top team on the global server. Because these heroes are just doing really well. It's actually crazy. Shamira is still just top in Ravion as a buffer for even endless difficulty. And yesterday it was the Nocturne Judicator Dream Realm boss, and in Nocturne Judicator as well, there was no use of Mehira in the top team either. It was just the standard team we see on global as well, which is like Valara, Twins, and Hugin, and those type of heroes. So So far, Mehira is really showing that she is probably not going to be meta for Dream Realm, and at the very most, she's probably just going to have some niche usage and maybe one Dream Realm boss like Blightshroom, and that is not enough reason to consider a must pull or a puller. So basically, my opinion yesterday was flawed because of the fact that I misunderstood exactly how much damage she's going to be outputting, because she is not going to be competing with other HP loss damage dealers with this level of skill if she arrives onto the global server and onto the on the real server with these numbers. If the numbers change, then maybe there's a potential, but like the numbers are pretty far off right now. The haste buff is interesting, but like I said, it's probably only going to be when you can't run the twins on the team. So of course in like Ravaged ROM, this HP loss is going to be meaningful because you just have limited options in whichever squad you're in. So definitely Mehira is going to be meta for Ravaged ROM. There's no question about that. Blightshroom, I think she could be meta. For pre-endless bosses, I just don't know. Like she does have this 15% bonus damage taken by the target if they are charmed. Now we don't know whether bosses are going to be able to trigger this effect because obviously you can't technically charm a boss. However, Alice she has that blinding related HP loss damage, and that seems like it's working even on bosses, even though you can't actually technically blind a boss either. So I don't know about this, but this 15% bonus damage taken is not bad, but it's not even up to Rainier level. Rainier level is 25%. So, but for pre-endless, I could see her as, you know, the supportive role, giving a haste buff for your allies, pretty massive haste buff, and then also this bonus damage taken by the target. You could see some use maybe even in some pre-endless Dream on bosses, but the thing is, I do not think Mehira is power creeping or taking twins out of the meta, and as long as twins are on the team, they basically do the haste buffing, they cover the haste buffing onto your team. So do you really need that additional crazy amount of haste? I mean, it could be useful, but also you're sacrificing one slot on the team for that. So that's basically going to be the question, and as of right now, she is not doing well in Dream Realm. So that's basically the summary of Mehira right now. She is still good for PvP though at AFK stages. So Shawty has sent me a replay, and this is ridiculous. So Mehira, look, the enemy team does nothing. So I think actually, you know, honestly, this is exactly what I was thinking. The problem with Mehira for PvP is her charm is low duration. It's only a 2.5 second charm. If we look at it, it's only 2.5 seconds. That is very short duration. And so like you really just want to nuke the enemy in those 2.5 seconds and give them no counterplay. That is basically the way I think you can best use Mehira, because that duration is really low. It was lower than I was expecting. I was thinking like 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. 2.5 seconds is not enough. And even when you give her skill power, go up to 2.9 seconds. But if you use a nuking team, Perseus, he will run down the enemy team in that 2.5 seconds. So watch this. It is just ridiculous. Yeah, you blinked and it's gone. So watch this. So you see, you're gonna have this in the low speed right now. Mehira is gonna charm them. They're all gonna get charmed up together, as you see here. They're all grouped up together. Zandrok is gonna break the Kulu barricade. Perseus is running down mid with this movement speed buff of Zandrok. Perseus is gonna collide with them, and boom. It's like, this is the wombo combo, and look, it hasn't even been 2 seconds, so the enemies are still all charmed, and they're all gonna go down during the charm duration. So other than Damon, but Damon's just to be finished off. So that is how I think you have to use Mehira, because if you're gonna use her in a stall, like long-term fight, like, you know, Dunlinger, Athalia, Saida, Mehira, the thing is Mehira doesn't provide enough. 2.5 second stun, like that team is gonna bounce back from that, you know, like if you're going for a stall strategy, but if you're going for a nuke strategy, that 2.5 seconds where they cannot do anything to defend themselves, that is pretty interesting, right? Okay, so we have some more replays from Talentless. So here we have Mehira being countered. So there's a Dunlinger, Athalia, Kulu, Mehira team. And you're going to see, basically, if you're going to go for the stall-oriented strategy, Mehira's charm is just not enough value. Okay, yeah, you charm for a while, but then the team is going to bounce back, right? So unless you're going to nuke them in that 2.5 second duration that you're charming the enemy, it's just not good enough. So that's basically the thing about Mehira. Sure, charm is just too short in duration to have long-term utility of the fight, but if you're going for like a nuking wombo combo team trying to eliminate them in 2 to 3 seconds, then there is value, because they're unable to do anything for this 2.5 seconds, and it's basically then foolproof. But if you're going for a longer fight, this 2.5 seconds is not impactful enough. So like, I don't actually think her best allies, I thought her allies would be like Dunlinger, Athalia, Saida, but no, it's not really that. I think it's more going to be like just nuking squads. Whether it be Lily May, Perseus, Siren, just nuking the enemy ASAP. Theodore, Siren, along with Mehira to charm them at the beginning. Comps like that, just wombo combo and killing them quick. Because the stall comps are still going to be a problem for Mehira, because she's not going to be able to kill them fast enough. And then, like, all you're waiting for is her ultimate, which is, like, she begins with 0 energy. It's going to take a long time to charge up that 1000 energy. And then also, you need to wait for this. This is a 15-second cooldown. That's a long cooldown. It'll take a while before she'll even get this up again. And then it's only a 2.5-second charm. So these are the issues with Mehira, basically. The other thing is her survival. The problem with this is it only triggers when she goes below 10% health. And so if a hero, if Mehira's sitting at 11% health, and a hero deals the amount of damage that is 11% or greater of her health, she's just gonna be one shot. So, like, you know Tassi, right? Tassi can be one shot through her invincibility, and Tassi's invincibility procs after she takes 50% health, right? But, like, imagine Mehira, she's only gonna trigger this after below 10% health, and that is way too low. So unless you're just sprinkling damage on her, she's not gonna proc this, she's just gonna be dead. So, like, that's another issue of her survival. So basically, I think they've tried to make Mehira like a jack of all trades, but she's actually just not really dominant in any one mode, other than AFK stages, I guess, for that initial charm. But, like, all you need is one copy of her for that. So, like, I just think she's a one copy hero, and investing higher than that is just like a whale thing as of right now, because I just don't see where you're going to get the value out of her. Not in Dream Realm, not really in PvP, other than, okay, those nuking comps, there is a lot of value behind that, and that is definitely interesting. You guys saw it. But, like, as a defensive hero, it's not. I just don't know. And also, Unaffected is going to counter the charm, of course. Keep that in mind. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this one. Let me know your thoughts about me here in the comment section down below. Of course, this is a Pioneer server, so all of this is subject to change. But as of right now, I think Mehira is actually a safe skip. So, very different from my opinion yesterday. Because my opinion yesterday, I just thought that the damage was higher than it actually was. I just was basically understanding the damage output that she has in comparison to other heroes. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That's gonna be it for this one. If you're not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. Also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.